And welcome to this week's WoW Flash. And I sort of feel a bit weird still having Legion stuff in the background when almost everything I'm going to talk about relates to BfA. But there is some Legion news in there as well. I've also added, which way? That way. Some more information. I've put stuff now on Facebook and Instagram. So for people who don't have Twitter or don't use Twitter much, because ideally that's where I put notifications, then there's also Facebook where some notifications will go up when I start to learn to use it. I really don't know what I'm doing with Facebook. It keeps doing weird things as well. But more about that on another video. And Instagram as well, where I'm just putting some nice little thoughts for the day. So, on to this week's news. So the first thing is Blizzard have today, or yesterday, depending on your point of view, been discussing hunter philosophy. They sometimes do this when they're doing a lot of work on a spec. They'll talk about their overall plan for the spec, in particular hunter pets, and talking about some of the changes that come to Battle for Azeroth. But it's actually worth doing a video just on that itself. So expect that to be coming out either later today or earlier tomorrow. Shu-zen, the doggy mount. This has been going over the last week, so this popped up at the weekend. And I was thinking about it, we don't really have an actual dog mount. There are wolf mounts and stuff like that. There are other weird creatures that you might think have sort of canine features, but no actual dog mount. Plenty of cat mounts. And so I was quite pleased about that, as being more of a doggy person than a catty person. Until then, the gloom started to set in and people were realising, before it was officially announced what exactly it was for, it was like, this is a bit weird, because it's clearly got a Chinese link. It's very Chinesey, the sort of style of it. And Chinese New Year's coming up, and oh, it's going to be the year of the dog. Oh no, this is going to be just for China. And indeed it sort of was. This is a promotional mount for people in China who, if they subscribe for a certain length of time this year. But we do get it in EU and NA if you purchase it on the online store. So it's on the online store, we can buy it as a mount. And everyone was very excited. The problem was that it then changed. So someone was posting on Reddit a before and after shot. So the dog as it looked like and the dog as it looked like now. And it's got smaller. The dog has got smaller. And people are going, it's a bit too small, really. And Blizzard agreed. This is very much a shaggy dog story, this one. Because Blizzard agreed. And they said, yeah, it does look a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the fluffiness by 30%. Fluffiness increased by 30%, go. And that's what they did. But then they looked at it and it's like, oh my God, it's awful. Things seem to be getting lost in it. I don't have any images. I've not seen what it looked like at that point. But I'm assuming gnomes got lost in it. I can't imagine it was a big problem for anyone else, but apparently it was. So they've had to revert it now, but they are still promising they're going to do something about it. It's on the to-do list. I don't get the impression it's something that's going to be done like in ages' time. They are looking at it and they're going to be doing something about that now. So it's all going to be good. But yeah, we can actually get Dogman. I know some people are not very happy about the fact that it's on the online store, but my attitude was always going to be on that. It's a cosmetic item. There's nothing when you purchase the game. You can't. I don't buy the idea that you should automatically get it with the purchase of a game or the subscription. There is nothing in the purchase of the game or the subscription that says that it gives you access to mounts. So the mount's not even mentioned in there unless it's a specific mount that comes with a special edition. So as far as I'm concerned, it's cosmetic. It's a special edition cosmetic item. They can absolutely put it on the online store. I haven't got a problem with that. Yeah. Now, in terms of stuff that's coming out of the BfA, some changes, biggish changes coming to professions. So first of all, it looks like First Day is disappearing, but I've already done a video on that today, so you can check that out. But there's a level squish for professions, which is fairly severe as well. So what would be 700 skill at the moment is going to be 100 skill with the squish. And also, there's an item level squish, of course, which we also know is coming. Along with the stat squish that was talked about, there has been a stat squish in WoW's history before, but because they didn't squish the item level, all sorts of weird things happened. So this time they're going to squish the item level as well. The upshot being that 1,000 item level item now, like our legendaries, will go to 270, or 280, sorry, and a 970 item level item will go to 250. So, that's about the item level I'm at now. So with BfA, my current item level will be round about 250. So those of you thinking that you're heading towards quadruple figures item level, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. For individual items, sure, but not across the board. Now, there's also in BfA, people were asking me, it's actually quite ironic, the timing of this, because in the stream on Tuesday, every Tuesday, we have just a good old WoW discussion in Twitch, nice live WoW discussion. And one of the topics that came up was, do you think there'll be new stuff for Mythic Plus? To which I said, well, I think there will be. Mythic Plus dungeons have been a big success, but that doesn't mean to say that you just keep it exactly as it is. Obviously, you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. You don't want to make changes for the sake of it and then end up making something not as good. But the one thing I said is what I can absolutely see happening is just a rejig of some affixes. And then, as if on cue, the alpha build that came out introduced the idea of a new affix called Blight when we checked this out. Now, what Blight does, absolute classic, it means that if you're on full health, you won't do as much damage or healing. If you're on lower health, then you'll do more. So in other words, you become more powerful the more injured you are, it seems to be. So, yeah, on that particular week, we won't really be wanting really good healers. Normally, I'd quite like healers that keep me at full health. Now, some people will take the view that this basically just means that your damage is going to be restricted. I think others may take the view that actually what you want to do is to juggle a fine line where you're maybe at, like, I don't know, 78% health. I don't know what the happy medium is going to be. But yeah, so when you're injured, you'll do more damage. So interesting times, interesting affix. Whether it'll be one of those pain in the arse affixes when we actually try it out for real, I can't say. It sounds fun though. Sort of. Sort of. Now, there's also been data mined a new Gorgrond Orc map, which can't really say anything about it other than people are looking at this as evidence for Draenor Orcs as the allied race. Now, of course, Blizzard have sort of more than heavily hinted that Draenor Orcs will appear at some point as an allied race, but if indeed this map is related to it, maybe it's related to the scenario that you would do, because there's a scenario with each allied race to unlock it, as well as, of course, achievements and rep, then that might suggest that they're well on the way to working on it. And maybe that when BfA goes live and we get access, potentially, to Zandalari Trolls and Dark Iron Dwarfs, of course, you have to do all the pre-stuff first, that maybe not far behind that, or maybe even at the same time, there might be more allied races, with Draenor Orcs being one of them. Who knows? But I can't really say any more than that at the moment. So, a couple of little things, announcements from Blizzard. The first one is for people in arenas. Now, I can't possibly comment on this, don't really do PvP in WoW. However, apparently there have been complaints that there's a lot of lag in arenas, particularly where enemy players don't appear to be where they actually are. So Blizzard have identified what they think is an issue. They have made changes already. There's changes already been in the game for a couple of days. And what they're actively wanting is feedback from players to say if those who do arenas on a regular basis and notice this issue, has the regularity gone down since? They basically want any feedback on that. Has it improved the situation? Is it just as bad? Has it seemed to have gone altogether, or is it just reducing regularity? That sort of thing. And then the next thing is to do with the Auction House API. Now, people have been talking about this, of course. 7.3.5, of course, broke a number of things. There's quite a few people who seem to think it's all been fixed. It hasn't all been fixed. There are still things that are not fixed. It was pretty major. As I said at the time, it was much more far-reaching than people really appreciated at the time. So one of the things they had to do regarding the auction house was certainly disable it from mobile point of view. You can't use the mobile auction house. There's some other aspects of the API, which means that some of your add-ons won't work as well as they did. Not that they've worked brilliantly or Legion, I have to say. But they're hoping to be able to sort of make some changes to that. When those changes do come in, which will be hot fixes, they won't necessarily come on a reset day, then it will be necessary to, in order to be able to use it on your mobile again, to log on to the auction house on a character on the live version of the game. So even when it's fixed, it won't be a case of just going onto your mobile going, oh yeah, it's fine now. You will still have to do it in-game to sort of reset things on the phone, I don't know. And that's it. You know, there's quite a lot of news this week, wasn't there? I think that's most of the interesting bits. There are also loads and loads of things I could talk about on the BfA, but in terms of the key things to work on there, I mean, just coming back to the first aid thing, one thing I should probably have said on that one is, because the achievements are moving to Legacy, if you are an achievement hunter and there are first aid achievements you don't have, probably got about half a year to get them. before they're unobtainable forever. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with other people. Comments down below. Always very interested to read those. And until next time, I'll see you later.